family to me. Not only the fans, but the players, the staff. Everything about this place is my home.
Hello and welcome to the club. I'm your host Mars, and this is the Upper 90 Club, a roundtable podcast where today 5 friends discuss the U.S. men's national team. This is our special live post-game reaction to the 1-1 draw between USA and Wales that just wrapped up in Group B of the World Cup final tournament in Qatar. With me in the club, I have Ben, Mort, Trey, and Haz. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hey there.
Glad we made time for that. I know you guys watched the game at lower.com. I was not there, but you were supposed to have some real-time reactions recorded on site. What happened to that, Ben?
Well, we were going to do like a before, middle, and after. I downloaded an app. Everything worked great before. Then I forgot. And then I forgot to save the second one. And I'm just the worst. I shouldn't be in charge.
2 words for you before we jump in. Voice memos. It comes native to the iPhone.
That's what we use. That's what I downloaded.
Well, that should have already been on the phone.
Is it already on the phone?
All right. Enough about that. Well, so how was it there? Was it nice?
It was awesome. It was so awesome. Like we were able to get like sneaky down in the Huntington, and they had like free food, free sushi. Felt like a king. We stood out like a sore thumb because we were dressed in like the full gear, but everybody else was dressed like they just got off work, and we were already like had been drinking all day. And we were like, we
were the table yelling at the screen. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so you guys sent me some pictures. We should share those.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah, they had a secret bar in the dressing room. So, and they told us that when we came down, they're like, hey, there's a secret bar in the dressing room. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Kind of weird that you just don't have it out at the other bar and offer to go to the dressing room if you'd like.
I did ask Josh Williams in line if they
pictures.
actually have that after the game. He said no, not as much as they had.
Did you guys see the barber shop that was down the hall from the locker room?
In-house barber
Kelly was
services?
talking about that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Most pro teams, I think, have that. That's why everybody looks so
It was honestly a really cool production they did. Hats off to the crew.
So they're going to do that
something
for
on.
every game?
I think the stuff at the pub is the normal stuff that they are going to continue to do for many games.
Okay.
Yeah. This was
just one appreciation of the box owners and VIPs, and we managed to mingle and get our way in there. So
Nice work, guys. Nice work. Okay, so let's start to react. Lineup, we can start there. We talked at length about what we hoped for and what we expected on the last episode. And I think we were pretty close. Ream was in. We wanted to see that. Sargent, Weah, those were a couple question marks. Glad to see those guys in the starting lineup. Anyone else have thoughts on that?
No.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's kind of what we wanted to see, right? Like we wanted Ream, which I was the only one I think that was like, yeah, I think he's going to do long just because they're,
Right.
That's what he's done forever. He hasn't, even called Ream in, but he put him in. Sargent, same deal. We haven't seen him like perform really for the U.S., but he started.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
Stuck with Moose and McKinney and Adams, which was good. It was solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and then Pulisic and Weah on the outsides. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think the first half was fantastic. This lineup was great.
Right. So the lineup, that translates to what we saw in the first half, right? The people were put on the field and they looked great. So, how'd you guys think about how we started and how we looked?
It was all about the energy. Somebody mentioned that we're winning like almost every second ball. So we contested and won every other, second ball on the field. So we grabbed possession. I think we're overall in the game was 60% possession. I bet we had much more than that in the first half.
Yeah.
I didn't see the stats for first half, but we controlled the game. I felt like we could have probably put one or two in there more than we did, but we never really got to the big chances, but we just dominated play, and it was just a little bit shy of maybe creating, at least creating one or two more goals.
Yeah, there was a couple good looks there in a row. One with that near own goal look, and then there was a shot shortly thereafter from Sargent. I think Sargent was.
Weah's touch and cross there is sick. It's a beauty how he takes that on on the bounce, kind of juggle it while he's running and just hitting it straight into the box there.
He looked
straight into the goalkeeper's chest. If it was anywhere else, I don't think he reacts in time.
Foot to the side, either side, and that's a goal, I think.
He looked really good on the wing.
Yeah.
Weah.
Mm-hmm.
He did run a little empty.
Oh yeah.
Later on, but we'll cover that.
Well, yeah. So
and Sargent's run off. Oh yeah, Sargent's run off the ball. He took a step back right there on the 6 and was able to completely turn the ball and hit it off the post. That was beautiful. Unfortunately, it doesn't count as a shot on target.
Right.
But
what else in the first half?
I think this was pretty much exactly what Greg wanted to do. This is his, what do you call it? His final essay in college. This is exactly what he wanted to do. He put the people out there in a 4-3-3, played the way he wanted to play against a decent opponent, and then just smashed them. The whole first half was exactly what he wanted. Everybody played how he wanted them to play, and it worked, and it was awesome. And it was just, I think all of us can agree that after the Saudi Arabia and the Japan game that we were just most everybody's deflated. And I did want to say this off the jump, if you would have offered me a 1-1 draw at the beginning of the game, not knowing, I probably would have taken it. A lot of people were expecting oh, whatever. And then all of a sudden the first half happens and the entire narrative changes. Oh, none of these people have played in a World Cup, and they went out and did that against a pretty good Wales team and just dwarfed Bale, dwarfed Daniel James, where they didn't even play him the second half. To me, it just seems that's that first half was the thesis statement to what Greg was trying to do with the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah.
From the backup. And it was awesome to watch, especially after everything that preceded tonight.
Well, you said it. It's once you get that goal and you see the form, it was almost like I hadn't watched the crew do this 49 times this season. I was expecting more going into the second half, and even toward the end of the first half. So the goal was great. We haven't.
I felt like the ref was quick on some of the yellow cards to the U.S. early on. 11th minute, 13th minute yellow cards, and then very similar fouls would happen. And I felt like he wasn't calling it both ways, but in the end, it didn't. I don't think it changed the game that much. It could have.
Generally, it was just inconsistent. There was the tackles, who gets a yellow, who doesn't, and then there was whether they stopped the game for players going down. That was a big topic in the second half. It seemed inconsistent.
Yeah, but watching the other games, like the Qatar game and stuff, they were pretty consistent this game like they were the last two games. They handed out a bunch of cards in those other games. I can't remember. We watched the Senegal-Netherlands game, but I think Qatar had 6 yellow cards. And I know, Tracy, you want to speak to the whole dissent thing, the thing that you heard?
Yeah, that was one of the big talking points for the referees before the tournament started was, they weren't going to take anything and they're going to hand out yellows quickly. It's not going to be okay to argue with the ref or to walk away with the ball or anything crazy. I I think the other side of that is you're seeing the refs quick to go to the pocket. In a lot of other tournaments and domestic leagues, a lot of this stuff is kind of waved off, going, it's too early. I'm not going to give you a yellow card. And they're going to the pocket early. So we had talked about this in our group chat of, I'm really curious to see if yellow card accumulation is going to make a big impact for the third games in this group stage. Or even, I don't know if it gets wiped going into the knockout round or not, but I don't think it does. So it could make an even bigger impact there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to check that out.
Stoppage time too. That's every game I've watched is I think the least amount of stoppage time I've seen is 5 minutes. And they usually run long, even beyond that. So these games are long.
Yeah, I think they're also just trying to add to the drama maybe a little bit.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Because 9 minutes at the end of our game, I'm like, I mean, I'm for it being a consumer in general of like the World Cup, but I'm like, I don't know where that 9 minutes came from.
I am curious about that as well. And I know the technology in this game is, or in the Qatar World Cup is the highest it's ever been. I'm wondering if they're keeping track of that separate and then telling the center ref how much stoppage, because in this game, when it goes to stoppage time, at one point in time, you can see his watch and like it shows the time and then the red stoppage above it. So you have to wonder if it's like
crazy,
and it's like his goal VAR watch thing that he's got. So I'd be interested to see if like that's actually, where everybody else, like it's considered the center ref monitors how much time is going to be added on. If this is actually something that's being told to him. So
I heard somebody mention in one of the other games, and maybe if somebody is listening, have heard anything, that they said they had an expectation of how many minutes the ball's going to be in play per game. So that affects the number, the added time. So even if there's like a ton of injuries, if the ball is not moving, there's no game going. They want to say they want to have a certain amount of minutes each game. So that's how they think about time a little bit differently. Almost like a stop, how you stop time in college. They're going to count that, and they want to add whatever's needed to get to that number of minutes.
Well, this is also the first where the ball has the sensors in it. And so with all the line technology, with not only goal line, but out of bounds as well, and all the cameras, so I'm pretty sure they can actually tell when it's where it's at, like where the ball was at. So it'd be interesting to see if that has something to do with the addition of stoppage time.
Well, I think it's clear that it's going to be a recurring theme, right? We've seen it in every game so far.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, as far as that goes, that's been pretty consistent.
So,
all right, what about the goal?
Yeah, let's talk about the goal.
Anybody want to break that down? I believe it's a Zimmerman winning a first ball up there and heading it on, and I think it's is it Musa?
Sargent's chip.
Yeah, Sargent. Yeah, and Musa heading it on right to Pulisic.
Oh yeah,
and Pulisic.
Well, he heads it towards Sargent, and it hits kind of glances off Sargent. I don't think he necessarily means to do that, but then it falls right at Christian's feet, and he's already in stride, like just blowing by.
And this is one of the few times Pulisic was turned in the center of the field with space ahead of him. He ended up a lot on the left side and so on to try to cut in or try to beat people one-on-one. But where he came into space, and then you see he getting his strides and just pinpoints that perfect ball into a perfectly timed, and that finish is high level. That was beautiful. But that was only one of the few times we actually saw them turned and guy went directly at the defense. There was a lot of nice plays in combination out of the left, but that is a beautiful finish, and loved it.
Yeah, he plays that through ball kind of like, back in behind the defender, and Weah takes it outside of his right foot, coming into the left, and just kind of chips it in between the goalie. It was nasty. Like, not, it was just the way he took it. I thought he was going to go a bunch of different ways, and he just
It was a very confident
It was
finish.
like
That's
nothing.
what I liked about it. It was
it was just like a chip, and then he just kind of ran to the corner, and it's awesome because Weah has also been injured for so long. He's probably the one that hasn't really been playing that much out of the people who started, or even the people that are on the bench. Like, he hasn't had a ton of minutes, but oh boy,
but we need more of those. That's one of our challenges. We need to get the ball in the back of the net.
Well, and it felt like we took
Yeah.
our foot off the gas after that for the entire second half. I don't know. The energy just wasn't there. It was kind of weird.
So, are we good on first half? You want to jump over?
Yeah, I'd say the other thing I'd want to shout before we get kind of second half negativity is we did play a decent amount of balls straight to the right, like direct balls, which we normally don't do, and I thought that created a bunch of danger. I think there's one more thing I wanted to danger. High voltage.
A lot of nice combination play, a lot of nice, 1-2 triangles, especially from the out of the side with Dest and McKinney and Adams and the little combo where we were really just 5 one-touches in a row. It just went from Dest all the way up to Sargent on top without anybody even been close to the ball a couple of times, which was nice.
Yeah, they played. It was fun and it was confident.
Yeah.
You could really see that they were out there having fun, confident on the ball, and it was the first half was fantastic. It was I think Ben had mentioned earlier is exactly what Greg wanted his system to look like at this point. And then the second half.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say is it was absolutely awesome to see Wales come out in a low block 5-3-2, something we cannot break down, have us dominate and go up 1-0 before half. Like, I don't think in Greg's tenure I've seen that, especially at a high level, and us to come out against our dreaded. It's like, this is how you beat the U.S. All you got to do is do a low block. They can't break it. It's like, well, we didn't play Reyna or Aronson, but we were able to break a low block and be one up at half. And it's like, what Tracy said is like perfect. It's like, yeah, Greg just would go in the locker room and be like, yeah, told you. This is what I was trying to do. See ya.
So
then
what did they do?
The second half.
I think the biggest thing they did was changing James. I don't think I even saw James in the first half, which is surprising. I mean, he's the guy that would be a pain. He would put pressure on us. He's the kind of the Aronson light.
Aronson.
Yeah, I've done that so many times now. Aronson light, where he chases. He's a pest, but he was an absolute no factor in this game. So I think having that sub and getting Kiefer Moore in there, and he was actually quite a bit of a factor in second half. He was involved in a lot. So,
yeah, I agree. So second half, like you said, it did a little bit of research. So they switched. They had to open back up. My concern, and I think this dates back to even when Greg was at the Crew, is coming out the second half flat. Like, whatever, it's we were so hyped up. We came out, we kicked so much butt. We didn't even take our foot off the gas. And then we come back out second half and we just seem flat. I think it was because I personally, and Tracy watched this twice, so he could probably speak to this, but I don't think besides that sub that there was that much difference in from the first half to the second half as far as what Wales was doing. I felt like it was a lot of us like, okay, we're up 1-0. We don't need to, press as much. We need to kind of chill. And we know we can't, we're not good at running like a mid or low black. That's not what we do. Like, didn't defend the first half. Like, what did you see something, Tracy, besides the sub and them switching up the formation a little bit? It just seemed like we were playing, like, we weren't playing direct. We were, kind of it just seemed
I think
weird.
the biggest difference that I did see was the sharpness was off in the second half, and it's all the little stuff that makes the difference in the World Cup when you're playing at this level. Is that the passes need to be to foot. The passes can't be a foot in front of you, and you can't run onto it, and then that's what was consistently bad in the second half. Somebody taking an extra 3 touches going forward, not playing the ball early, not moving off the ball, not winning the second ball. all the little things that they were doing in the second half just weren't happening. Sorry, that were happening in the first half, just weren't happening in the second half. And it was just all the little things. And a couple of times it clicked. The one time they moved forward, pushed the ball out to way on the right side, way across it all the way over to Pulisic. There was a little bit of it, but the combination plays weren't there. The flick-ons weren't there. It was just not crisp. It wasn't crisp.
And the crosses weren't there. I mean, like you said, we got down to the byline a couple of times. We got in some dangerous position. We got some corners, and the deliveries were not great. We joked. Yeah,
I heard Greg on no fewer than 3 occasions say that his guidance to these guys was that you have to make every moment. You have to maximize every moment, right? Like every time you touch the ball, it has to be the best you've done it because the stakes are higher. There's just so much more intensity and pressure. And yeah, maybe the success in the first half made some of that guidance feel less front of mind. Maybe they got a little tired, or maybe they were too amped from just the adrenaline rush of the first half, and then it's like, things kind of slow down a little. I don't know.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah, and the people were gassed. Don't get me wrong. Like some of the people weren't 100% fit. Like Weston was not 100% fit. Obviously, we saw that. Des wasn't 100% fit. But the first half didn't feel like nervous, amped up energy. It was like confidence.
Yeah.
So it usually like whenever I see someone go, oh yeah, we put the foot off the gas, I would see, basically everybody playing like Robinson, where it's just like running as fast as you can and like kicking the ball and just freaking out. It was like to me, it just looked like they were just comfortable. Like we didn't do anything crazy. We just played how we all kind of thought they could play together. And it was like, it just seemed like chill. It's like, yeah, guys, we got this. Like, this is what we were supposed to do. And then the second half, it was weird. It's like, I felt like we almost took the foot off the gas, but also played kind of panicky, like misplacing passes, doing things like what Trey was saying, like the little things were off. But I didn't feel like Wales was like pressuring us and making us do it. We were just doing it. You know what I mean? I didn't see like a crazy shift of like, it wasn't end to end. It was just us shooting ourselves in the foot slow, and just doing pretty poorly, like slowly over time.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to get to the subs because I feel like, when you see that happening as a coach, like I understand that, Weston wasn't fit, Des wasn't fit. So it's like, hey, what are we going to do?
You want to talk about the subs before the goals, right? Chronological. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So let's go through them. What do you think?
66th minute, Aronson comes on for McKennie. Then 70.
That's great. I think. Does anybody have a problem?
I don't have a problem with that necessarily. I think it was gassed too. The question was, should Weah stayed that long, knowing that he seemed really gassed as well.
So
yeah. Well, Weston, it doesn't show up on Fatma, but he was injured. Like he was holding his groin, right? And we were like, well, he's not 100%. And then he immediately was taken off once he kind of pulled up.
But I have no problem with that sub. There was one other option we talked about even for starting, was maybe even Aronson for McKinney. But I think that was a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. And he made an impact right away. I think he came in, he wanted the ball. Like already one of his first touches was like, give me the ball. And he just took it off the field, took somebody on, got a pass going. And we were kind of like, yeah, there he is. It's cool.
Yeah.
So that was a positive. I thought that was a very positive sub. So I had no problem with that one.
Agreed.
74th minute, Haji Wright came on for Josh Sargent. Also, DeAndre Edlin came on for Dest. And 75th minute, Kellen Acosta came on for Musa.
Who went off injured.
Yes.
Here we have some comments, I'm sure. And especially one that I want to bring up is Yedlin for Dest. He's supposed to come in and give us some of the calm and use his, experience and all that. How many times did he kick the ball out for weird throw-ins and errors that went over the sideline? small things, like you said, that chops up the game and actually created some opportunities for them to turn it on us a couple of times. So
Yeah, I think I agree with that 100%. And instead of bringing calmness to the game that a veteran should, his shaky indecisions were leading to Zimmerman jumping in and making ill-advised early tackles. That was not he didn't come in and fulfill what Dest was doing.
Was that change in part driven by the yellow card from earlier, or was it just time to get Dest off?
Yes.
take Dest off.
I mean, the yellow card probably helped
Yeah.
make this
the decision.
the choice easier.
Yeah, I wasn't. See, when Yedlin came on, I felt okay about that change because I think Dest had a pretty poor game all told, especially on the defensive end. And yeah, he did have a couple where he kicked it out of bounds. He seemed kind of shaky, but I didn't think his defending was that bad. I didn't think
But
that was terrible. Would I have put Scally in? Because that's the only other option I could see, or Shaq Moore.
I don't want to go down
Probably
the path of who could have come in. The fact of the matter is, like, the confidence and the calmness and how they played in the first half together, that would just ripped it apart. Like, he was just scatterbrained over there, and there was a couple of times, like in the first half, where Dest just would get the ball, turn, find the pass, they'd work the ball out quickly, calmly, and then that would lead forward. You just saw him panic and kick the ball out. Or you saw him panic and boot it up to a Wales player, 30 feet up the field. That's the kind of things that made the difference, that started to turn the tide, because we were losing those balls coming out of the back, not controlling it, not working it forward.
Yeah, I wonder if his instructions weren't just like defend and kick, because he was not doing well for Miami this year, but historically, especially in the lead up to the World Cup, he has been playing pretty well for the United States.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked his defending and stuff like that. Also, I did not understand the back of his hair. Did anybody catch that? The red,
like a
it
trim,
literally looked like the top of the Wales flag. It's like the red,
Like three
of the,
peaks
thing.
or
And I was like,
something. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I thought it would be more funny if he dyed his hair white, since he's the old guy. Like, I'm the old guy, but
How about the other subs, guys?
I digress.
We had Musa going out, and we had Acosta coming in for him, right?
Yep.
Musa.
Yeah, I want to talk about Haji Wright
So-
first. Did anybody see that coming?
No.
No.
Usually Greg does a like for like,
Yeah.
which is what he did every single one except for that one. And it was before the goal. So
I didn't have a
what was he my question? Yeah, what was he trying to accomplish here?
I was wondering if it's going to go a little more direct, that he seemed that we were struggling with possession, and maybe going a little more direct to the forward, winning some ball and get some runs off the more of a power forward. It was definitely not successful, I can tell you that.
I don't think it
so
was.
it was a strange one. He never really got into the game.
Yeah.
He had one opportunity, I think, where he got to a half chance, but that was about the only thing we saw of him, even in combination play.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah,
I didn't
true.
necessarily hate it. I don't think he
No.
did anything like he didn't do anything anything horribly wrong. He didn't turn the tables at all. Like, he didn't do anything that was amazing.
And at the same time, Sargent, since the opening 10, 15 minutes, I mean, he was involved with some of it in the first half, but he wasn't great, especially not in the second half. He disappeared. Obviously,
not a factor.
when you are, he's not a factor, but obviously if we don't play well to get the ball up there, it's almost impossible to do anything.
So-
and that's really not his job.
Yeah.
But so it was a like for like. I don't really mind the sub, but I was a little surprised.
So moving on to the third sub, Kellen Acosta. For what it's worth, he maybe saved the game for us.
Right.
Yes.
not
Right.
gonna argue that.
I mean,
Great
Nope.
tactical foul.
yeah. Like, besides that, I didn't really see enough to consider it good or bad.
Wanna-
I thought he was
I'm going
fine.
to describe that instance real quick. Turner comes way out. way
Turner
out,
comes way out, heads the
30
ball.
yards out.
Yep.
which I actually think was okay that
He
Sure.
possibly
If not,
did.
it-
But then it was
So
like,
the ball ends up
yeah, go ahead.
just inside the half, and you've got the Wales player coming forward. Gareth Bale picks it up.
it was Bale.
Yeah, Gareth
Turner-
Bale picks it up, goes to shoot, and right before he does, Kellen catches him from behind and stops him, earns a yellow card for it. But we could be sitting here at 2-1 loss.
he was going to
Yeah.
drain that shot. I had
Fouled by
no
his
doubt
club
in my
teammate.
mind that he was going to drain that
Yep.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Gareth Bale
I've
doing
seen-
Gareth Bale things.
Yeah.
I've seen like screenshots of it, and his back is to goal, and he's just like sprinting to goal, and Bale is about to take the shot. Like he has got it lined up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because prior to that, I think it was Ream and Kiefer. Like that was going to be the foot race, and it was like, nope. Like that's one thing that Turner definitely made the decision. Like he's not going to win that. This is 1-on-1. He went out and won it. I was like, cool. And then I saw Bale pick it up, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be like that time when Zlatan took it when he first got subbed in for Galaxy and just like puts it. I was like, oh, we're screwed. And that foul was,
It was good. It was fun.
yeah.
That was right at the end.
It was
too.
great. Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But before that, yeah, so Kellen come on. I thought he played fine. I mean, I thought Musa had a pretty good game. He did like Musa things where it's, you know, it seems like it's a normal game for him where he doesn't do anything crazy, but he was better at moving the ball up the field than like McKinney. So it was like kind of what we came to expect. But
I think it was a weak game for
So-
him. He usually doesn't make that kind of mistakes, and he tried to drive it past the line, like through their lines, and it did not work. And he gave up possession in ways that Acosta
a
don't
couple
usually.
times.
And so that's one other thing. We put on another person that's supposed to give us a little bit of poise and a little bit of experience, and he kind of have that, and he didn't. Instead, he actually drove even more errors and didn't calm it down. So that's why I felt like it was a little bit of a misfire there too.
Composure.
Great tackle, but
right.
yeah, composure. You wanted more of that composure. He usually has it. It used to be his strength, and I feel like he was making also some of these strange decisions. So
Does he play like for LA? Doesn't he play like a 6, like a like where Adams plays? I thought he plays further back.
yeah, I
And this-
moved him
I just-
around a little bit.
My question is like, what? So when Haji comes in and Acosta comes in, like, what were the instructions? Because I saw nothing. Because the only thing I could think of is kick it long to Haji, have Haji hold it up, get fouled, and then we have easily our best set piece taker, or some might call it special teams.
Speaking of set pieces,
Ooh,
Did we
that-
ever
That's what I'm saying is like,
did we ever get it past the first defender?
so Pulisic was our taker, and he was so bad. That's not his game. That's not his game. Our best set piece taker is Acosta, in my opinion. He's awesome. He's amazing. And I think our second best is probably
I was
Aronson.
about to
That's who
say.
does it for Leeds. That he does a great job for Leeds. So like with those two people out, you know, you got Pulisic, who's just absolute trash at set pieces. It was like a non-factor. So my thinking was, cool, I'm going to put on, you know, Yedlin, have him play direct. So he's just going to kick it up there. Haji, you get up there, you're big, bring down the ball, you know, hold it, get fouled. And then Kellen, you know, deliver the ball. And the problem is that never happened. I don't think, do we have a set piece? I don't remember seeing a set piece in the final third for us at all.
Other than a corner kick,
So
couple corner kicks.
yeah. Yeah, there was no like fouls outside
That
the box.
first
I mean,
one
I think
in the first half
was-
where he wound up and just
I'm talking about when Acosta came on,
right,
Oh,
right.
and Haji.
after the subs.
So like I'm thinking
Right,
like when
right.
when he goes like what were the instructions is what I'm thinking, because that was my frustration with these three subs. It's like, all right, they came on, what did
Yeah.
it change? And it's like, oh well, I thought easy. You know, we have a target 9, which we normally don't play with. Kick it to him, have him play hold up ball, but it never happened. And I was like, okay. And then from there we can talk about the penalty, because I actually don't remember what happened right before the penalty. Does someone remember?
It starts with the
I blacked it out of my mind.
starts with a throw-in. I think we actually give up a throw in and they take it pretty quickly. So we're all a little bit out of balance already, I believe. And there's some small passes out on the right side and it's played in. Zimmerman trying to go to the ball. And I think he doesn't see Bale coming from his blind side.
Right.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad, like a rash challenge. I think he just didn't see him.
I agree.
He dives for the ball. Bale's getting in front and he's put in a bad position.
He like looked over his
I
shoulder.
don't really blame him for it.
He saw it coming over his shoulder and he just dove down to clear it. And there was a person there.
Yeah.
PK.
There's clear PK. I think I won't blame him for it. It's one of those. I don't think it was like that rash. I think we put ourselves in a position to concede in that sense. So the error was already made prior to the situation. Because
I disagree.
You disagree? I don't think it's in.
From the man who blacked
You have
out.
a right to.
No, because I came home, I took a shower, I did some thinking.
Keep in mind, this
Here's
is
what I came up
this
with.
is a
So-
minute review right after the game that's live.
Yeah. I still took a shower. Doesn't change the fact that I took a shower.
I did.
I smelled terrible because I poured an entire beer on myself. So yes, I do think that he maybe didn't see him, but I think typically, and you saw Robinson do this during one of the weird punch outs, like when all right, hop on the train for this because this is gonna be weird. So I think as a defender inside the box, that was a stabbing tackle. Like he didn't, like you just don't kick your leg out like that. So that's not like a clearance you would do. He also I think kind of like went through and fell. So yeah, he didn't see him, but he definitely felt him there. And he would like a better thing to do. And if you go back and see like how other center backs and defenders defend inside the box, they don't just stick out. Like if they think they have to do that, they square up and get between the ball and the goal. But they don't leave any feet hanging out. Like I was like I also thought Zimmerman had an awesome game.
So you're saying
Besides
he didn't
that, so
see
take
him.
no shade away,
He didn't
but-
see him, but his tactic was sloppy. And so whether there was a person there or not, he should have done it.
Yeah, I mean, his leg kick. I mean, as a defender inside the box, you have to
Yeah.
be very careful about kicking your leg out, stabbing at the ball, because that's exactly what Bale knew. Bale knew what he was going to do. He's like, I'm quick enough to get there before him, and as soon as his leg went out, he just let it hit him. I mean, it was a clear foul, but what other more professional what they do is if it's inside the box, they'll just kind of try to get their body there and not just stab at the ball. So you'll see it earlier on where Robinson went to do it. He went to kick it and he realized another guy might put his head in. So he stopped and then waited a second and then cleared it. And I was like, cool. Cause what could have happened is he could have flailed his leg and kicked him and he stopped and it scared me to death for a second, but I realized what he was doing and he was able to clear the ball. But what Zim did, because he was just reacting, he was like, and it was a panic mode because it wasn't just one guy in the box. There was a lot of people there. So you can't just do it. Was just a mistake. I think it was a mistake. I think it was a heightened moment. Everybody was freaking out. He was just trying to clear it and he reacted and just flared, threw his leg in there and took out Bale. And it's like, yeah, it would have been better if he just would have squared him up or got his body there instead of kicking out a leg.
Yeah, but
again, that's being nitpicky. I don't think he's just not at fault. He didn't see him. It's well, there was a ton of people in the box, and just to kick your leg seems, I don't know.
But this
suck
all
at
started
defense,
as a transition. I think they had some pressure. We win the ball. We going up the field. We misplay the ball. They get it back. We blocking it out for a throw-in. There's a throw-in, and Acosta is sleeping, and the guy runs through. I don't know what player it was, and he cuts it through. It goes past the first player, the first Welsh player, and whoever's defending it, and it goes through there, and that's when he dives for the ball because he's have to make a last-minute decision or last-second decision to kind of get a foot on it, and that's when Bale just gets himself right in front of him. and goes down, and it is a PK. But it starts with giving up the ball, being sloppy, and putting ourselves in a situation where we're running towards our own goal with the back. Yeah, it's not good.
Did they deserve a goal that second half? Probably.
Yeah.
So I'm not too terribly upset.
And they could have won it. The Turner has a great save on a header a little later too.
Ben Davies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so and the PK itself, right? That was
Actually, the header was before the goal. Come to think of it,
correct.
Yep.
The rocket from Bale. Turner did everything right.
He got a hand on it. Yeah, Bale's like Kane in the fact that when they take those penalty kicks, getting a hand to it is just going to blast your hand off. Like he hit it side netting. Turner guessed the right way, did a pretty good job. Like I have no complaints necessarily about that, but we can move on from that. So, it's like, okay, 1-1, what's your answer? So what Greg did is he called Mort. He's like, hey, Mort, what would you do? And Mort's like, hey, man, you got to put in Jaden Morris. Jaden Morris, or JMO, is what I need to see him on the field. I want him running light and fast up the sideline. Oh, man, you guys should have been there when he walked up. Mort screamed. He's like, no! It was as soon as I saw him, I started laughing before I heard Mort. Mort was next to me, and you thought he just saw someone kick a dog.
I think I embarrassed the table a little bit. We're talking about a group of people that had a couple of drinks in them. Because I yelled and I was like, that was loud, wasn't it? They were like, yeah, that was pretty loud.
Yeah, the people behind us were like, yeah, that was loud. But all you yelled is this blood curdling Wilhelm scream, no. But in reality, the answer was no. That should not have happened.
Well, the PK was the 82nd minute. This substitution
maybe
is the 88th minute.
It's an
88
minute. He got 15 minutes roughly, I think.
With the 9 extra added minutes. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Do you really? Why? Why does he like Jaden Morris?
I don't know.
And for the record, we know it's
Jordan Morris.
Stop tweeting at us. But we call him Jaden, and it's an inside joke. Hop on the train.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's. I don't hate it. I wish that wasn't the answer.
Oh, I hate it.
I know you do. I know you do. But what?
He took his
putting Gio on, or I don't know. I'm happy I didn't see Gio come on because I don't think he would have made the difference in this game. You could argue for a couple other people. I'm not going to argue for Christian Roldan or something like that. So
yeah, I get that.
I think with one exception, there probably shouldn't ideally not be any MLS players on the field.
Is that one exception, Jaden Morris?
Right now it's Zimmerman.
Yeah, I'm not.
Honestly,
no.
how things are to right today and the level we have, that's my stance. Ideally, I know that's not reality, but that's where we need to be.
Well, the first thing I thought, which has been going around Twitter right after the game, was Gio hurt or did he get a knock? Because that was, I think Matt Doyle tweeted that, and it's okay, cool, maybe that happened. But then, right before the pod, Trey chimed in. He's like, yeah, I just read that he said he was completely fine, and Greg made the decision because he wanted speed and
power,
whatever.
Yep,
power. Get that. So,
anyways, he came out. He didn't do anything. Like we said, probably didn't make a whole lot of difference in the end. Clearly. So, what do we do?
Yeah,
I think that's the question.
So what do we do?
Yeah, how do you want to set up against England?
I think we'd have to figure out a way to get a point here. And that's going to be our approach. But do we have a team that mentally is created to do the low block and try to drag out a 0-0? Do you trust this game with a 0-0 game?
Well, and extrapolating the group out, let's make the assumption that we both beat Iran, meaning us and Wales. And let's just say it's going to be a pretty even. We spank them, whatever number, 3-0 each. So then it comes down to how bad does England beat each
How do
of
we
us
fare against
respectively.
England?
Yeah. So like this could be the key matchup. Whether or not we win, lose, or tie, how bad is it? Is the question.
Yeah, I think what he's going to do is run his 4-3-3. Depending on the injuries to
Musa.
The only thing I can think of is the injury to Weston. He might start Brendan Aronson.
I saw people saying that
think this-
Pulisic should come in from the bench. That won't happen, but I saw some calls for that.
I think, again, I think the general rule of thumb for this stage is and this is the thing that bothered me about Morris coming in, is you play your best players. If they're available, there's no excuse. There's no saving anybody. And I think maybe he was saving Gio to start the England game. So the England games, we're going to have to run a lower block. I'm assuming it's still a 4-3-3, but we'll be, playing a mid to low block. But we also may not. I would not be surprised if Greg just goes, yo, dudes, go at him. Like, let's play our game. I don't think he was just talking about like he doesn't want to we have an identity
Right.
and we're going to play that way. And honestly, it may not. I mean, it may work. Their offense is awesome, but their defense has holes. Like Iran had, expected goals is a made up thing, but England had 2.1 expected goals and Iran had 1.8. So if it comes to that, they put 2 past them and Iran was terrible. So like if we have, like I said, if McKinney's out because he's injured, you have Aronson, you have Pulisic out there, you have whoever starts up at number 9. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Ferreira, and you have Gio.
Well,
that's what's up. Like they will go after them, and I feel like we play better as a counter-attacking team. I think we have the personnel to play. We do better if we're if we're the underdog, which we really haven't been for quite a while.
I think that Greg having his system and not being a flashy, universally loved coach. He's looking at this as don't make it out of the group stage, probably don't have a job. If this is your program, why in the world would you try and tinker with things in this last stage and still possibly lose and regret it for your whole life? Right? He's been building to these 3 games for years. And he seems like the guy who would die by the system, live by the system, die by the system, right? So,
Well, we're seeing it.
For better or
Right.
for
We're
worse.
seeing it.
right.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. And I said that before this game, that I'd rather them not make it out of the group, but playing some good ball, getting that experience to keep developing the culture and the kind of their system and getting to that. Obviously, I want them to go through, but I want them to not just play crappy and just.
Well, they could also
pragmatic.
not go through by trying to change what they're doing too, right?
Exactly, that's my point.
Right.
And at least I would be even for Berhalter, he can at least say, hey, we were successful at times. This is a work in progress, and the one that really, really matters now is in 4 years when these guys are 4 years older and played my Porter, I almost said Porter ball, but Greg ball for another 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and we saw what it could do in the first half. Like it was impressive, and it was really well done. So, we'll see. My worry is that we come out like we normally do, and they put 2 past us in the first 10 minutes, and all of a sudden we're struggling, which is exactly what happened to Iran. Although Iran was, let's not
put a lot of weight in
They were
that.
bad,
They were
man.
bad. We all know England is
very
good,
bad.
but Iran
Some of those,
was bad.
yes, some of those goals were leading Saka in on his left leg
that's
and
insane.
stuff
Right.
like that, like
And
basic defending.
I like Rashford, but his goal 15 seconds onto the field was cake. It was cake.
Yeah, stupid.
Like I don't want to take
like,
anything away from him. I mean, he's a great player, a great
no.
human being, but no, sure.
Yeah.
So the U.S. needs
No
to do.
shade thrown at him, but
Yeah,
I would say
it's totally on you.
get
Ron.
out of here.
so.
Yeah, woof.
So I hope to your point, it's one of those things that could be. You can get maybe England shaken a little bit if you go out and suddenly, oh, they're not in a low block, they're coming up, or you can just be like, oh, they're coming out, shouldn't have done that, and you could be carved to pieces. That's the big risk right here. Then again, we have experience though. It's not like these guys are not going out and not used to playing against these players.
So I think that,
And we also have nothing.
the
to
consensus
lose.
is that we want to stick with the program. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So I
what
want
about
to take
the
a few
Musa
minutes and
injury?
just kind of.
I'm
We'll
sorry.
see.
I feel like I'm delayed.
Yeah, same thing
Yeah.
with McKinney.
No,
fine.
but I missed that.
It's
What's
a
the
good
injury?
question. I mean,
Musa,
I'll
McKennie,
wait
that's
I thought
two
he was
holes in the
I thought he was
midfield.
cramping up. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
I thought he
mean,
was.
with
I thought he was
McKinney-
cramping up.
yeah, McKinney will be a question. Moose will be a question. I know Pulisic came off with a little bit of a knock, so I think that'll be the biggest question Thursday evening going into Friday morning is who's healthy enough to actually play, and then who replaces who.
Yeah, I mean, if there's two holes, we have Luca De La Torre,
And Aronson, yeah.
and it's not.
Another
super
person that
ideal,
haven't
but it's
played
better
very
than
much
hold on.
this year.
I will say it now. I want to see Gio on the field.
Yes, that is the. I think we're all in agreement that that's the one have to.
He is probably one of the few threats in front of goal.
So what do you think? We started with the same front three. Then we Weah, Sargent, and Pulisic, and we got Aronson and Reina coming in now midfield. If Musa's that gets very offensive though against England.
Yeah,
I don't know, how do you go about it?
I think
Pulisic through the middle?
Gio, Adams, and I think depending on who's the injury will be the question.
So I missed the
whoever's more
injury.
fit.
I didn't know he was injured.
Well, McKinney had that he was really grabbing
Yeah,
his groin. I don't know about Musa. I didn't see much.
I saw Musa
Says-
stretching. I thought that was a cramp.
It says subbed off due to injury. I didn't realize it
Yeah,
watching.
but I think I saw him stretching a
So
cramp.
either way, I want to see
I think
Gio.
that was a cramp, which is
Yeah.
technically he can't continue as an injury.
I want to
So
see
I think
Gio.
that's-
I want to see Adams, and then plug in the third name on whoever is most fit between McKinney and Musa. And then figure out the rest from there. Defense should stay the
I'd like to
same
see
from the
Aronson
starting.
and Gio start.
I don't know.
Go at him.
I don't know. I have questions on Aronson, but
We'll have plenty
I
to
don't
talk
have a
about
problem
on
with him
Friday.
on the field. But I just don't think that's not who I want to ride or die with in the first 45.
I can get behind that.
All right, so
Hey,
sorry, Mart. Go ahead.
no, you're good. I just want to. I'm just talking about like what Ben alluded to with the 1-1. I would have before the game. I'd be like, you know what, probably not too bad. So we talk about the second half. We're talking about, oh man, we're gonna play England and all that. But it's so much fun though. This is what I love. We're in the middle of it, guys.
Yeah.
We just gotta love it and enjoy it. And just there's games tomorrow. I'm planning on getting up at 5:00 and watch games. This is
Not me.
is awesome.
It's Argentina too.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, I think.
So
Yeah.
I'm just going to point out that I'm still optimistic. I still think we can do something cool against England too, and just enjoying that the World
and
Cup is here.
We should feel
Yeah.
optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should feel optimistic. I mean, it's interesting that it's a 1-1 and it feels like a loss.
Definitely.
And I did not see that coming 24 hours ago. So, the good news is we didn't lose. We're still absolutely in it. Let's just see what we can do. And the good news is the next game is, we got nothing.
And the
to
good
lose.
news is that
No
we're
one's
here.
expecting us to win.
You know, it's been so long. I was trying to explain this to my kids, the oldest of whom is 8, and she was born in November of 14. They haven't been alive with a team on the field, so that's something to be happy about. Great to see the guys on the field.
Yeah, you weren't even alive. Think about that.
Yeah.
Didn't even exist. Think about that. Yeah, both my kids didn't exist. I'm gonna wake them up right now and tell them.
Finn,
Like,
Yeah,
hey,
appreciate
technically,
this.
I think in utero, but we won't go down. We won't go down that path. So let's talk. Let's rank some things. Who do you think the best 3 players today were? Top performers.
Weah.
Got to be Adams. Yeah, I'd say Adams.
Yeah, the composure from Weah
Ream
and
and Weah.
that goal was beautiful.
And I'll go Adams, Weah, Turner.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
without
I was going to bring a
you know,
Turner too. Yeah,
With a couple of those crosses, he seemed a little. I mean,
yeah, but
he had one drop.
he stepped up and he made 2 big saves.
Agreed.
And without that, I mean, does Stefan block it? I don't think so.
yeah.
But
no. I do think it's something to note now that we're looking at this, and I'm sure we're going to do probably 3 poor performers. But when you look at the guys who started, the 4 subs that we made, none of them rate anywhere close to the people on the 6.1 was our highest at Brendan Aronson, and then our worst, quote unquote, worst player was like McKinney and Sargent at 6.5.
Really?
So all the subs we made were technically.
Yeah.
well, I think they
mean,
all
it's subjective.
yeah, but also first half helped all the stats. So in second half,
Yeah.
they might not perform better than
Just
them.
ruin what my
I'm
stats.
just saying.
because I was gonna say for the 3rd star, quote unquote, Dest or McKinney. I mean, those 2 actually played pretty decent, but
I didn't think they played that good.
first
You
half,
just take
first
Dest.
half,
First half, I thought Des was fine. I thought they
thought Des
had a
was
good
fine.
first half.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, for sure, Weah
Adams and
Weah and Adams, and then flip a coin for 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ream did good, and honestly, I thought Zimmerman had a pretty good
Yeah,
game.
I hadn't been for that penalty.
Besides that,
Mark,
was,
yeah.
can you be the deciding vote on this?
I don't care.
Between
Yes, you do.
oh yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah,
no,
sure.
not on this. No, not on this
Oh,
topic.
okay. Yeah. Lay it out.
Does Tim Ream have a man bun? Because Ben can't seem to see it.
Well, so now this is one
hot
of these
pony.
things where, ask me if. I mean, I'm gonna think of a bad example, like Don Mattingly has a mustache or something. Like, it's just like you just can't remember. I think he does, but my memory says yes, there's a man bun. But I'm not looking at a picture right now. I mean, I could analyze a photograph.
Yeah, how about this? Send us an email, upper90clubpod@gmail.com, and let us know. Man bun or no.
It's a back bun.
Yeah. Or could it be some other kind of baked good?
Gross.
Like, could it be like a biscuit or
All right.
Scone.
So
Is it
a
allowed?
bun
Hold on.
means a bun means
Yeah,
it's
we need-
tied in a tight coil, versus a ponytail is let loose like a pony. So it doesn't matter
So
where
none
it
of
is
them
on the
have-
head. You can be on the front or the back. It's still a bun.
there's
a bun.
no
Yeah, but
there's
none
no
of them have a bun. They did.
there's
all
no
did ponies.
free flowing
No free.
pieces.
No free from.
Oh, here we have a picture
Free
coming
from.
up. That's
Yeah,
a bun.
that is
That's
a bun.
All right, pictures
That's a
up.
bun.
That's a bun.
That
Even
is
though-
today.
Oh,
That-
How can we even know if it's
That's a
today?
bun.
Ref.
For the listeners, the listeners, we are all looking at a picture now. For some reason, it's pretty small, but the picture is small. But I can tell even at this distance that it's a bun.
They showed it a couple times. He's like, I missed it.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, look, Ben, it's a bun. And I look up and it's a pass. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
So, yeah, okay, it's a bun. It's not a top knot, which is
Yeah.
what I was thinking. But
Yeah.
it looks
Ream's
good.
bun
It's a good bun.
is the top performer, number 3. That's my vote. All right, let's go to those who left the most to be desired, the worst performers, if you will. Who are the top 3?
Let's make this pre-subs. No, make it pre-subs.
Yeah, I think
we can
have to
pick on
stop
those
with
guys.
disappointments. I would say Pulisic was a disappointment to me. He has the assist, and that's a good one-time thing.
Yeah.
But
was good.
based on where we set the level and expectation for Pulisic, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
It was not great, and he got worse. And the second he started whining and complaining, you should just sub him. He's done. He laid on the ground, throwing his arms in the air, and he stopped playing. And then he gets frustrated, trying the same things. And
Mort's
Yeah,
like
he's
the hammer.
starting to.
Yeah,
he's writing another chapter, and he's going to re-release his book on hardback.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to it'll be called
that,
like the
epilogue?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
The
I mean, I
the
don't
Berhalter
recall Sargent.
years.
I don't recall
Too much,
Sargent
yeah.
on the ball very much at all.
Yeah, I just hate giving our number 9s
So much hate.
grief because our system is not set up to have them score or prosper. It's like beast of burden. Like they run off the ball, they create space, they do all these things that go unnoticed, and it's like, he didn't do anything bad.
If I'm being
but,
forced to pick 3, he's one of the
they're not-
3.
He's not set up to.
Not necessarily
I'd say
worst.
Zimmerman. He gave up the tying. Yeah, Zimmerman, McKinney, Pulisic.
yeah, I don't mind that. Musa was also actually not up to par, but
Yeah,
he
I'm
put in
going
a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah, he played. The only thing he kept doing was losing the dribble, keeping it too far out in front of him, and then losing it going forward.
Which is his job.
Yeah, but maintain possession.
Which is his
Pulisic's my vote, and not because he was horrible. Just he wasn't what he should be. Like, you're the highest rated paid player playing at the biggest club in Europe for this team. Where you at? This is
And
the
the corner
time you need
kicks.
to step up. Where you at? Yep.
Yeah.
Seems like
Okay.
the special teams, Ben. It's like it's like, is this
need a
not a
coach.
significant piece of the game? Maybe we're spoiled with Zelarayan.
I will never understand how a professional footballer can't take a corner kick.
Yeah, it's like being
Past
unable
the
to
first
shoot a
guy.
free throw.
It-
Like
Yeah.
it's there are
Yeah,
no
I would- yeah.
variables.
The Shaquille O'Neal of the corner kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one time it got to the
I
second
just don't think
defender.
there's an
One
excuse.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just there
I've got one. Can I throw one out
doesn't
there?
make any sense to me.
Yep.
I don't know how much you guys
Yeah.
could listen to the game cast, but I'm going to take you back a little bit. And in qualifying, we were watching these games on Paramount Plus, if you remember. That was like the only way to watch them, or it was for me. And I remember the first qualifier we watched, they had like Dempsey, I think Onyewu, maybe Charlie Davies. They had a group of people doing the pregame, halftime, and postgame show. And it sounded like these people had never sat in front of a microphone before. And I get that. Like, not, maybe not a lot of people watch the games. But this game, they had Lawless and Donovan and Dempsey. And Dempsey just did not show up. He was making like really bad, kind of like groan-worthy jokes and like maybe a little off-color jokes. And like, I was surprised that they brought.
It's because none of them want to get shot.
You think he's the muscle or what?
all the commentary is just like, what are you saying? It's like, It's like, how was the first half? It's like, I don't know. Qatar's great. I don't know. Just
got it.
No, just don't talk about it, right?
Yeah, but it's not
Did
as if
you- I
love
Dempsey
where I'm
was.
staying. How great is
Dempsey
the
wasn't
stadium?
taking any kind of like political, cultural stand. He was just like laughing at Lawless saying cockles. You know, like, I was just like, I was
He
surprised because
understood the
it's well
assignment.
documented from those qualifiers that like he's bad at this. And you know what? Like, I loved watching him play, and I'd probably like having a beer with him, but he did a bad job.
Yeah,
Dude, did you
He's the Charles Barkley
did you
of the
see
group.
him
He's Chuck Bark.
do was it the Gold Cup last year
Uh,
when we beat Mexico?
yeah, maybe was he wearing like a Stars and Stripes suit? Do
I
remember that?
think so, and it was with Maurice Adu and Charlie Davies, maybe.
Yeah,
Was it
Yeah.
Charlie?
And
Davies?
and then
Yeah,
they had
I
one of
remember
the female commentators on or broadcasters. Yeah, he is not PC. He's
I kind of
wasn't
I
good,
did
though.
love it,
It
but it was
wasn't-
the mix of
everybody
people.
has different high fives.
Just being not PC doesn't make it good though. Like,
No. I totally know. Yeah, like putting him with Lawless.
yeah,
Nah, Lawless is he's towing the corporate line.
yeah.
yeah.
Lawless have I think somebody put it so nicely. Lawless have undeserved arrogance. Like he thinks he talks like he is. I thought that was such perfect definition of him because he's like, I'm so great, and it's like, no, you were really not all that. You know, you played like a little bit in Italy. You know, you played one World Cup. You're not really anything special, but he thinks he's like the face of soccer
Yeah.
in the United States. And I'm like, and everybody else, he's like, he's above everybody.
Did he have a
else.
bun?
Yeah, no.
Did he
no,
ever
no.
have a bun? I have to go back and check the tape on that.
He probably had a ponytail.
Yeah. I've seen the facial hair. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, he was. The
Sorry for railroading that, but
No,
that
no,
was
no, you're
that was
good.
a big takeaway for me. Was like, gosh, I'm going to have to keep listening to Clint Dempsey just like completely whiff.
Yeah, when I
on
saw
these
Landon
jokes.
Donovan and Lawless, I was like, it's time for a pee break. And then Haas and I just went to the changing
Changing room together.
Yeah, I got to stop saying that.
Ben
The
was-
dressing room, which isn't anybody.
Locker room.
Ben was hoping to drop a doozy in their locker room.
Yeah. I didn't. I couldn't find it. There was a barber shop. There was no toilet. So,
All right.
all right.
Well, so we'll do this again on
All
Black
right.
Friday, and I can't wait to see what happens. Any other parting thoughts?
Yeah.
You're still in it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Quickly, we want to go over. Yeah. Santos is official. He's going to DC, and rumors are our tour is gone to Austin.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Or, Crew Juniors. It's pretty much where everybody goes.
Love you, Artur.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Time for
we'll
some
see.
flesh.
We'll see what
Yep.
happens.
Flesh blood.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sure.
let's stay optimistic, and then, depending what happens to Iran and Wales, Friday may be a little different.
Come on, Iran.
All right. We'll see you then.
Yeah.
Go USA.
All right.
USA.
Thanks everyone for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go Crew! No, I'll start again. If you have something funny queued up,
Did it cut out?
he's talking about your recordings at the game. I'm gonna start
yeah,
again,
bad
and I'm
job.
gonna
This is
lob
gold.
you this thing that you.
This is pure gold.